What happens when you're 7 months pregnant, chained to a chair on Christmas Eve, and the only man who can save you, your mafia husband, arrives too late? Imagine hearing the gunshots, feeling your baby twist inside you, and thinking, this is how we die. But what if the night isn't over, and neither is his revenge? Picture this. It's Christmas night, snow outside, blood on the floor inside. You're 7 months pregnant, wrists shredded from the rope, and the man holding you hostage is laughing into your husband's phone, telling him he already lost you. The Don walks into a trap. A second too late, or so everyone thinks. They don't know he came prepared to burn the whole city down for you and that baby. Some deadlines are brutal. When you're 7 months pregnant and a mafia target, too late usually means you leave the world with your child still inside you. The clock is ticking, the dawn is blocked at every turn, and your hostage takers think they've already won. But they never understood one thing. This isn't just a rescue. It's the beginning of a Christmas massacre planned by a man who refuses to bury his wife and unborn heir. The rope cut into my wrists until the skin opened. I remember the smell first. Not Christmas, not cookies, not pine, just bleach and old blood on the concrete. My baby kicked, hard, like they were trying to punch their way out of me. 7 months in my belly, and tonight might be our last night together. It was Christmas Eve. There were lights outside, music somewhere far away, people laughing, kissing, drinking, and I sat in a cold warehouse with tape on my mouth and a gun pressed against my swollen stomach. Every time I moved, the metal nudged my baby, like a promise. The man who held me hostage leaned down and whispered, "Your dawn is late." He put the phone on speaker so I could hear my husband's voice break. "Do not touch her. I'm on my way." His accent was sharp, American streets with Italian steel. He always sounded in control, but not tonight. Tonight, he sounded like a man watching his whole world bleed out. A drop of my blood hit the floor. Tick. Another hit my barefoot. "Talk." "Too late," my captor said, smiling into the phone. "Say goodbye to your wife, and your little Christmas miracle." In that moment, I believed him. I believed this was the end. What none of us knew was that my husband had already turned this city into a trap. For them, the penthouse smelled like cinnamon and pine. Lyris Quinn stood by the floor-to-ceiling window on the 42nd floor, one hand pressed against her swollen belly, the other holding her phone to her ear. Outside, Manhattan glowed like a jewelry box. Christmas Eve, 7 months pregnant, and for the first time in years, she felt safe. "I'll be home in 20 minutes. Cassian's voice rumbled through the speaker. Deep, steady, the kind of voice that made grown men confess sins they hadn't committed yet. "Lock the door behind Marco when he leaves. Don't answer for anyone else." "I know the drill," Lyris said, smiling. Her baby kicked, hard, right under her ribs. She winced. "Your son is kicking me again. Or daughter." There was warmth in his tone, rare and precious. "Tell them to behave until I get there." She laughed softly, her breath fogging the glass. Below, the city sparkled. Taxi lights, street vendors, families rushing home with last-minute gifts, normal people, safe people, people who didn't live behind bulletproof glass and armed guards. "Lyris," his voice sharpened. "You hear me? 20 minutes. Stay inside." "I'm not going anywhere, Cassian." She hung up and set the phone on the marble countertop. The Christmas tree dominated the living room, 12 feet tall, covered in white lights and gold ornaments. Cassian had insisted on decorating it himself this year. She'd watched him, this dangerous man who controlled half of Brooklyn's underground, carefully hanging glass angels with hands that had broken bones and signed death warrants. Marco, her head of security tonight, stood near the elevator. Young, maybe 26, buzz cut, shoulders like a linebacker. He nodded at her. "Mrs. Moretti, I'm doing one last sweep of the hallway. Lock up after me." She walked toward the door, her bare feet silent on the heated floors. Her belly made her waddle slightly. She hated it, hated feeling slow, vulnerable. The lights flickered. Lyris froze. Marco's hand went to his gun. "Stay back." The lights cut completely. Darkness swallowed the penthouse. Outside, the city still glowed, but inside, nothing. Just her heartbeat. The baby's movement. Her breath. "Marco?" Her voice came out smaller than she wanted. No answer. She heard it then. A wet sound. A gasp. Something heavy hitting the floor. Lyris backed toward the kitchen island, her hand searching blindly for her phone. Her fingers found cold marble. A glass? A knife block? Where was the phone? The emergency lights kicked on, dim, red, eerie. Marco lay face down near the Christmas tree. Blood pooled around his head. soaking into the white fir tree skirt. A thin wire was buried in his throat. His eyes were open, empty. Lyris's scream caught in her chest. 3 men in black tactical gear stepped out of the shadows, masks, gloves, silent as death itself. One moved toward her. The others fanned out, checking rooms, securing exits. She ran. Her pregnant body was slow, clumsy. She made it 4 steps before hands grabbed her from behind. She kicked, twisted, her nails raking across a masked face. Someone grunted. She opened her mouth to scream, and a gloved hand clamped over her lips, cutting off sound, cutting off air. Her phone. It was still on the counter, still connected to Cassian. They dragged her backward. Her heels scraped across broken ornaments. Glass shards bit into her feet. She thrashed, wild, desperate. Her baby. She had to protect her baby. One of them whispered, "Careful with her. The Dawn needs to hear this part." They shoved her down onto the couch. Rough hands zip-tied her wrists behind her back. Too tight. The plastic cut into skin. She tasted blood in her mouth from biting her tongue. The lead man picked up her phone from the counter. He looked at the screen, smiled behind his mask. "Still connected," he said. "Perfect." He put the phone on speaker and held it close to Lyris's face. "Cassian?" Her voice shook. "Cassian, there." A hand covered her mouth again, muffled her, let just enough sound through. Panic, terror, proof. Through the speaker, she heard tires screeching. Cassian's voice, sharp as a blade. "Lyris! Lyris!" The man leaned into the phone. "Tick-tock, Dawn? Midnight. You know the rules." Then he ended the call. The phone dropped onto the couch. It landed face up, screen black, next to a shattered glass angel. They lifted Lyris like she weighed nothing. Her feet dangled. Blood dripped from her heels onto the white marble. The baby kicked, frantic now, sensing her fear. The last thing she saw before they pulled a hood over her head was the Christmas tree, still glowing, still beautiful, still decorated by the hands of a man who was about to burn the entire city down to find her. Cassian Moretti's knuckles were white on the steering wheel. The SUV tore through red lights, engine roaring, tires fighting for grip on snow-slicked streets. His phone was still pressed to his ear, still connected. But the line was dead silent now. "Lyris." His voice cracked. "Lyris, answer me." Nothing. He replayed the sounds in his head. Her scream, muffled, cut short. The voice calm, professional, taunting. "Tick-tock, Dawn." His chest felt like someone had reached inside and squeezed his heart until it bled. Beside him, his second-in-command, Dante gripped the dashboard. "Boss, we're 3 minutes out. I've got 12 men converging on the building. We'll find her." Cassian didn't answer. His mind was already tearing through possibilities. Who? How? Why tonight? Why her? The baby. They took her because of the baby, his unborn child. 7 months. Close enough to survive outside the womb with medical help. Close enough to kill and destroy him completely. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He answered before the first ring finished. Cassian Moretti. The voice was distorted, robotic, unrecognizable. "You have until midnight. That gives you 4 hours and 43 minutes to find your wife and your little Christmas miracle. Every hour you're late, she loses something. A finger, a toe, maybe something more important." Cassian's jaw clenched so hard his teeth ached. "If you touch her, you'll what? Kill me? Brother, you don't even know who I am." Laughter, cold and sharp. "But I know you. I know your roots, your safe houses, your secrets. I've been watching you for a very long time." The line went dead. Cassian's hand trembled. Not from fear, from rage so pure it felt like acid in his veins. Dante stared at him. "Boss? Call Renzo. Tell him to lock down every bridge, every tunnel, every dock in this city. Nobody moves. Nobody breathes. I want eyes on every vehicle that left Manhattan in the last 30 minutes. Already done." "Then do it again." The SUV screeched to a stop outside the high-rise. Cassian was out before the engine died. His men were already in the lobby, weapons drawn, faces grim. The doorman sat zip-tied to a chair, blood trickling from his nose. Cassian didn't slow down. He hit the private elevator, smashed the button for the penthouse. The ride up felt like drowning. When the doors opened, the smell hit him first. Blood, fresh, metallic. The penthouse was a crime scene. Marco's body near the tree. Broken ornaments everywhere. Blood drops leading toward the couch. The Christmas tree still glowed, obscene and cheerful, while everything around it screamed violence. Cassian's breath came hard and fast. He walked slowly into the room, his boots crunching on glass. His eyes scanned every detail. Zip-tie fragments. Lyris's phone on the couch cushion, her blood on the marble. He picked up the phone. The screen was cracked. The last call still logged. 23 minutes, 17 seconds. Connected the entire time. He'd heard her taken, heard her scream. And he'd been 12 minutes away. Too far. Always too far when it mattered. Dante appeared behind him. We found the security footage. They cut the feeds, but we got a partial plate on a van leaving the underground garage at 7:14 p.m. black. No logos. Heading toward Brooklyn. Brooklyn, Cassian's own territory. They took her into his kingdom. Bold, stupid, or a message. His phone buzzed again. A text. No number. Just an address in Red Hook and a photo. The photo loaded slowly. Cassian's stomach turned to ice. Lyris, tied to a chair, a hood over her head, her wrists raw and bleeding, her belly visible, swollen, vulnerable. And pressed against that belly a gun. The text below read, "Tick, tock." Dante swore under his breath. "It's a trap. They want you in Red Hook. It's wide open. Warehouses. No cover. They'll have snipers. I don't care. Boss." Cassian turned, and Dante stepped back. The look in the Don's eyes was something beyond rage, beyond human. "Get everyone. I want 50 men. I want the Benedetti crew. I want every gun we have." His voice dropped to a whisper. "And I want Enzo to find out who leaked my security schedules. Because someone inside gave them access." Dante's face went pale. "You think it's one of ours?" "I know it is." Cassian's hand tightened on the phone until the screen cracked further. "The question is who. And when I find them, I'm going to make them beg for a bullet." He walked toward the elevator. Stopped. Turned back to look at the Christmas tree one more time. Lyris had been so happy tonight. Safe, glowing, talking to their baby. Now she was zip-tied in a warehouse with a gun to her stomach. 4 hours, he whispered. "I'm coming, Lyris. Hold on." The elevator doors closed. Behind him, the penthouse lights flickered once, then stayed dark. Lyris woke to cold. Not the comfortable cold of air conditioning, the kind that seeped into bones. Damp, industrial, the smell of rust and old motor oil. Her head throbbed, her wrists screamed. She tried to move and realized she was tied to a chair. Metal, bolted to the floor. Her ankles were bound too, zip ties cutting into swollen skin. The hood was still over her head. Fabric, rough. It smelled like chemicals. She forced herself to breathe slowly. In, out. Panic wouldn't save her. Panic wouldn't save the baby. The baby. Lyris's hands flexed behind her back, trying to feel her belly. She couldn't reach, but she could feel movement inside her. A kick. Weak. Frightened. Still alive in there? A voice. Male. Close. Calm. She jerked her head toward the sound. Hands pulled the hood off. Light stabbed her eyes. She blinked, trying to focus. Concrete floor. Metal beams overhead. Christmas garlands hanging from the rafters, red and gold, absurd and mocking. A space heater in the corner doing nothing against the cold. 2 men stood in front of her. The first was tall, mid-30s, with pale eyes and a face like carved stone. Calm, almost gentle. He wore a black suit, expensive, out of place in a warehouse. His hands were in his pockets. The second man made her skin crawl. Shorter, wiry. His smile showed too many teeth. He held a pistol loosely, swinging it like a toy. His eyes kept drifting to her belly. 7 months, right? The calm one said. His voice was smooth. Educated. High-risk pregnancy at 46. Moretti must be terrified. Lyris said nothing. Her throat was dry. Her tongue felt thick. The wiry one stepped closer, crouching in front of her. "You know what I think? I think we should cut it out of you right now. See if it's a boy or girl. Moretti would pay anything for a piece of his kid. Even just a hand. Rulon." The calm man's voice sharpened. "Step back. Rulon. Rulon Vex." Lyris filed the name away. If she survived this, Cassian would want to know. Rulon straightened, pouting like a scolded child. But he didn't put the gun away. He pressed the barrel against her belly. Cold metal, right where the baby kicked. Lyris bit her lip so hard she tasted blood. "Don't scream. Don't give him anything." "Enough." The calm man Edron, she guessed, pulled Rulon back. "We need her intact. For now." He walked to a table against the wall and picked up a phone. Cassian's phone. Or hers. She couldn't tell from this angle. He dialed, put it on speaker. It rang twice. Then Cassian's voice. "Where is she?" "She's alive. For now." Edren's tone was almost friendly. "But you already knew that, didn't you? You heard her scream." Silence. Then, quietly, "Let me talk to her." "Of course." Edren held the phone near Lyris's face. "Say hello, Mrs. Moretti." She swallowed. Her voice came out hoarse. "Cassian." Lyris. Relief. Pain. Rage. All of it in one word. "Are you hurt? Is the baby—" "We're okay." She forced strength into her tone. Don't do anything stupid." A bitter laugh from Cassian. "Too late." Edren pulled the phone back. "You have until midnight, Dawn. 4 hours and 18 minutes. We'll send you another address soon. Maybe it'll be the right one. Maybe not. I will find you," Cassian said. His voice was ice. "And when I do, I will take you apart piece by piece. I will make you beg for mercy, and I will not give it. Looking forward to it." Edren ended the call. Silence filled the warehouse. Lyris's breath came fast. Her baby kicked again, harder this time, like they were trying to fight their way out. Rulon circled her chair slowly. "You scared, Mommy?" She didn't answer. "You should be." He leaned close, his breath hot against her ear. "You know what happens at midnight if he's late? I get to have some fun, and I always wanted to see what a pregnant woman looks like on the inside." Lyris closed her eyes, counted her breaths. 1, 2, 3. Edren's phone buzzed. He checked it, frowned. "We're moving her. Now." "What?" Rulon straightened. "We just got here. Moretti's people are sweeping Red Hook. We need to stay ahead." Edren looked at Lyris. "You're about to take a little ride, Mrs. Moretti. Try to enjoy the view." They cut her ankles free but left her wrists tied. Rulon grabbed her arm, yanking her to her feet. Pain shot through her swollen legs. She stumbled, nearly fell. He caught her, fingers digging into her bicep hard enough to bruise. "Careful," Edren said. "She's valuable. For now," Rulon muttered. They walked her toward a side door. Lyris's mind raced. She needed to leave something. Anything. A clue Cassian could find. As they passed the table, she saw it. A stack of papers. Shipping manifests. One was half visible. Street Jerome Pier Dock 7. Street Jerome? That was Sunset Park, South Brooklyn. She needed Cassian to know. Edren opened the door. Cold air rushed in. Snow was falling outside, soft and silent. They shoved her into the back of a van. No windows, no seats, just cold metal and darkness. Rulon climbed in after her, gun still in hand. "You make a sound," he whispered, "and I'll shoot you in the leg. Baby will still be fine. But you'll bleed. A lot." The door slammed shut. The engine started. Lyris sat in the dark, her back against the van wall, her belly tight with fear. Her baby moved, slow, tired. "I'm sorry," she whispered. The van lurched forward. Through the thin walls, she could hear the city, traffic, sirens, Christmas music from somewhere far away. Cassian was out there, hunting, raging, coming for her. But would he be fast enough? Or would midnight come first? Cassian's SUV slammed to a stop outside a shuttered meatpacking plant in Red Hook. Snow fell harder now, thick flakes that melted on the barrel of his gun as he stepped out. 12 men fanned out behind him, weapons raised, breath fogging in the December air. The address from the text had led them here. A building that hadn't operated in 5 years. Windows boarded, graffiti on the walls, but fresh tire tracks in the snow. Recent, within the hour. 2 teams, Cassian said, his voice low and deadly. "Dante, take the back. I'm going through the front. Anyone inside who isn't Lyris, put them down." Dante nodded. Half the crew peeled off, moving like shadows around the perimeter. Cassian didn't wait. He kicked the front door. The lock splintered. The door swung inward, groaning on rusted hinges. Darkness, silence, then a sound. Whimpering, crying. He raised his gun and moved inside. His boots crunched on broken glass. The air smelled wrong. Not like Lyris, like sweat, fear, decay. His flashlight beam cut through the dark. It landed on a woman tied to a pipe, mid-30s. Bloodied face, duct tape over her mouth. Her eyes went wide when she saw him. Not Lyris. Behind her, 3 more people. A man, 2 teenagers, all bound, all terrified. "Boss." Dante's voice crackled through the radio. "We've got bodies in the back room. Ours." Cassian's chest tightened. He moved deeper into the building, past the hostages, into a back corridor. The smell hit him before he saw them. Blood, fresh, 3 of his men, laid out in a row, eyes open, mouths stuffed with something red and gold. He stepped closer. Tinsel, Christmas tinsel, on the wall above them, written in their blood. "You're late, Don." Cassian's hand trembled. Not fear, pure, molten rage. His phone buzzed. Another text, another photo. Lyris, different location, still tied, still alive. The timestamp showed it was taken 11 minutes ago. The text read, "Wrong address. Try again. 3 hours, 42 minutes left." Cassian's jaw clenched. They were moving her, playing a shell game, keeping him chasing ghosts while the clock ran down. Dante appeared beside him, staring at the bodies. Nico. Salvatore. Leo. He swallowed hard. They were stationed at the penthouse this morning. They would have known tonight's security rotation. Cassian turned slowly. "You're saying one of them talked? Or someone made them talk?" Dante gestured to the scene. "This is a message. They're inside our operation. They know our movements before we make them." Cassian holstered his gun, pulled out his phone, dialed a number he hadn't called in 3 years. It rang once. Moretti. The voice was old, rough, familiar. "Didn't think I'd hear from you again. I need the Benedetti network, all of it, off the books. No one in my crew can know." Silence. Then, "What's the job?" "My wife. Someone took her. Someone who knows my operations. I need people I can trust. People who aren't on my payroll." "How many?" "As many as you've got. I'll pay triple." A low whistle. "Must be bad. She's 7 months pregnant." Cassian's voice cracked. "And they're going to kill her at midnight if I don't find her first. Jesus." A pause. "You'll have 20 men in 30 minutes. Where?" "Brooklyn Navy Yard. East Gate." "Done." Cassian hung up, turned to Dante. "Pull everyone back. I want a full audit of every man who had access to tonight's schedules. Phone records, bank accounts. I don't care if it's your cousin. If they blinked wrong this week, I want to know." "You think it's someone close?" "I know it is." Cassian walked back toward the exit, past the terrified hostages, past his dead men. "And when I find them, I'm going to make them watch what I do to the people who took her. Then I'll do worse to them." Outside, the snow was ankle-deep. Cassian's phone buzzed again. Not a text, a call, unknown number. He answered, said nothing. "You're slower than I expected." The distorted voice, mocking. 3 wrong addresses so far. How many more until you give up?" "I will never stop." Cassian's voice was a promise, a threat. "I will tear this city apart brick by brick. I will burn every building. I will end every bloodline connected to this." "You think you're playing a game?" "Brother, you just started a war you cannot win." Laughter. Cold. Bitter. "We'll see. Maybe at the next address, you'll find pieces of her. Maybe a finger. Maybe something bigger. Depends on how late you are." The line went dead. Cassian stood in the falling snow, gun in one hand, phone in the other, and let himself feel it. The fear, the rage, the helplessness. Then he shoved it down, locked it away. Lyris needed him cold, focused, lethal. He climbed back into the SUV. Dante slid into the passenger seat. "Where to?" "Boss?" Cassian's phone lit up. Another address. Sunset Park this time, near the piers. South Brooklyn. "And Dante?" He started the engine. "Call the Benedetti crew. Tell them to bring gasoline. If we don't find her this time, we're burning every warehouse in that district until someone talks." The SUV roared into the night, tail lights vanishing into the snow. Behind them, inside the meatpacking plant, the hostages cried, and the bodies stared at nothing. Lyris's world was pain and cold. The van had stopped twice. Both times, rough hands dragged her out, checked her bindings, shoved her back in. No words, no explanations, just movement. Always movement. Now she sat in a new location. Another warehouse. Bigger, older. She could hear water nearby. The slap of waves against wood. A foghorn in the distance. The piers. They'd brought her to the waterfront. Her wrists were bleeding now. The zip ties cutting deeper with every movement. Her feet were numb. Her baby had stopped kicking 20 minutes ago. And that terrified her more than the guns. More than Rouland's smile. More than anything. "Please," she whispered. "Please move. Please be okay." A flutter. Weak. But there. Lyris closed her eyes and let out a shaking breath. Still alive. Both of them. For now. Mrs. Moretti. Edrin's voice. Calm as always. We're going to make a little video for your husband. Something to keep him motivated. No. Her voice was hoarse. Please, don't. It's not a request. They untied her from the chair but kept her wrists bound. Rulon grabbed her hair, yanked her head back. She gasped. Pain shot through her scalp. Edrin set up a phone on a tripod, pressed record. The red light blinked. Go ahead, he said. Say goodbye. Lyris stared at the camera. At Cassian, wherever he was, watching this. She wanted to be strong, wanted to tell him she was fine. But the tears came anyway. Cassian. Her voice broke. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have been more careful. I should have. Tell him about the baby, Rulon said, pressing the gun to her temple. Tell him what happens if he's late. Lyris's breath hitched. The baby is okay. For now. But Cassian, don't let them turn you into something you're not. Don't lose yourself trying to save me. Our child needs. Enough. Edrin stepped forward. That's plenty. He reached for the phone. And then a voice came from the shadows. A voice Lyris knew. Let me say something. She turned her head, slowly, afraid of what she'd see. A man stepped into the light. 50s. Sharp suit, gray at the temples. A face she'd seen at Cassian's table. At their wedding. At Sunday dinners. Marek Silvano, Cassian's lieutenant. His right hand for the Brooklyn docks. Marek? Lyris's voice was barely a whisper. No, you. Surprised? He smiled. Not cruel. Just tired. I've been planning this for 3 years, Lyris. 3 years watching Cassian take everything that should have been mine. The respect, the territory, the empire. He trusted you. He used me. Marek crouched in front of her, eye level. I built those docks. I secured those routes. And what did I get? A pat on the back and orders. While he sat in his penthouse with you, playing house, pretending to be something other than a killer. Lyris's mind raced. Marek. It was Marek. He had access to everything. Security schedules, safe routes, Cassian's private numbers. You won't get away with this, she said. When Cassian finds out, I'll be gone, and you'll be dead. Marek stood, looked at the camera. Cassian, if you're watching this, you're already too late. By the time you see this video, Lyris will be in the river. Your baby will drown inside her, and I'll be in Buenos Aires with 15 million of your dollars. He leaned closer to the lens. This is what happens when you forget where you came from. When you think love makes you stronger. It doesn't. It makes you weak. And weakness gets you killed. Edrin stopped the recording. Lyris felt her world tilt. Marek. The man who'd brought them champagne when they announced the pregnancy. Who'd joked about being the baby's godfather. You're a coward, she said quietly. Marek looked at her. Maybe. But I'm a living coward. You? You're about to be a memory. He turned to Edrin. Send the video. Then move her to Dock 7. We dump her at 11:45. Gives Moretti just enough time to arrive and watch her sink. Edrin nodded. Rulon grinned. Can I have a little fun with her first? Just a little? No. Marek's voice was sharp. She stays intact. Cassian needs to see her face when she drowns. That's the whole point. They grabbed Lyris again, dragging her toward a side door. She fought, kicked, screamed. Her bare feet scraped against concrete. Her belly cramped. Stop, she gasped. Please, the baby. Rulon hit her. Not hard. Just enough. Her head snapped to the side. Blood filled her mouth. Shut up, he hissed. They shoved her into a smaller room. A storage closet. Empty except for old rope and tarps. They tied her to a support beam. Arms above her head. Wrists screaming. The door slammed shut. Darkness. Lyris hung there. Her weight pulling on her shoulders. Her belly tight and aching. She could hear them outside. Talking. Laughing. Planning. Dock 7. Sunset Park. She needed Cassian to know. Needed to leave a clue. Her goodbye message. The video. She'd tried to say something. Tried to hint. But had it been enough? She thought back. Replayed her words. The baby is okay. For now. But Cassian. Don't let them turn you into something you're not. Don't let them. Dock 7 was near Street Jerome's church. The bells. She'd heard them when they first brought her in. 3 chimes. 3 times an hour. Had Cassian heard them in the background? Please let him have heard. Her baby kicked. Hard. Angry. I know, Lyris whispered into the dark. I know, baby. I'm trying so hard. Footsteps outside the door. The lock turned. Rulon stepped inside, gun in hand, that terrible smile on his face. Just you and me now, he said softly. And I've got 15 minutes before they need you. Plenty of time. Lyris's breath stopped. Cassian sat in the back of the SUV, phone in hand, watching the video for the third time. His face was stone. His eyes were dead, but his hands shook. Lyris's voice, broken, terrified, apologizing to him. She had nothing to apologize for. Then Marek's face, Marek's voice, the betrayal landing like a bullet to the chest. 3 years, Cassian whispered. I trusted him for 3 years. Dante sat beside him, silent. What could he say? They'd all trusted Marek. He'd been family. Cassian replayed the video again. This time, he didn't watch Marek. He watched Lyris. Her eyes, her mouth. Don't let them turn you into something you're not. Turn them into, he frowned. Pause the video. Listen to the background noise, muffled, distant. But there a sound. Rhythmic, metallic, a bell, church bells. He turned up the volume. 3 chimes, clear, distinct. Dante. What church in Brooklyn rings bells 3 times an hour? Dante thought. Street Jerome's, Sunset Park, near the old shipping docks. Cassian's heart hammered. Dock 7. That's Marek's territory. You think she's there? I think she's telling me she's there. Cassian looked at the timestamp on the video. Sent 18 minutes ago. How far? 20 minutes in this snow. Make it 10. The SUV surged forward. Behind them, 3 more vehicles followed. The Benedetti crew. 20 men who owed Cassian nothing but were loyal to the code. Loyal to the idea that a man's wife and unborn child were sacred. Cassian's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Tick, tock. 2 hours, 9 minutes. He didn't respond. Didn't react. He was done playing their game. Dante. I want snipers on every roof within 2 blocks of Dock 7. I want the water exits blocked. I want every man Marek has ever worked with pulled in and questioned. And I want our tech team to scrub every security camera in Sunset Park for the last 4 hours. Boss, that'll take. Then start now. Dante made the calls. Rapid, efficient. The operation shifted from reactive to surgical. Cassian stared out the window. Snow blurred the city into shapes and shadows. Somewhere out there, Lyris was tied up, bleeding, terrified, carrying his child, trying to be strong. He thought about the last thing she'd said to him on the phone before they took her. Don't do anything stupid. Too late. He was about to do the most dangerous thing a man in his position could do. He was going to walk into a trap knowing it was a trap, knowing Marek wanted him emotional, sloppy, exposed. But Cassian wasn't walking in alone, and he wasn't walking in loud. Change of plans, he said quietly. When we get there, I'm going in first. Alone. Unarmed. Boss, I said alone. Cassian's voice was ice. Marek wants a show. He wants me to storm in, guns blazing, cops watching, FBI closing in. He wants me to destroy myself trying to save her. So what are you doing? Giving him what he wants. On the surface, Cassian's eyes went cold. Calculating. But you and the Benedetti crew? You're already inside. You planted yourselves 2 hours ago. You've been there the whole time. Waiting. Dante stared. We haven't. I know. But Marek doesn't. And by the time he figures it out, it'll be too late. You're bluffing? You're going to bluff your way in and hope. I'm not hoping. Cassian pulled out a second phone. Older. Encrypted. A number only 5 people in the world knew. He dialed. A woman's voice answered. Clipped. Professional. Moretti. It's time. Location. Sunset Park. Dock 7. You've got 90 minutes. Understood. She hung up. Dante's eyes widened. Was that? Don't ask. They drove in silence. The city thinned out. Industrial zones. Warehouses. The smell of salt water and rust. Cassian's phone buzzed one more time. Not a text. A call. Marek's voice. Real this time. Not distorted. Cassian. You see the video? I saw it. Good. Then you know this ends one way. You come alone. Unarmed. You watch her die. Then maybe I let you live long enough to bury her. Or, Cassian said softly, I come alone. Unarmed. And I kill every single person in that building with my bare hands. Starting with you. Merrick laughed. You're not that man anymore, Cassian. You went soft. The second you fell in love, you stopped being dangerous. You're wrong. Am I? Then prove it. Doc 7. 90 minutes. Come alone, or I put a bullet in her stomach and you can watch your baby bleed out on camera. The line went dead. Cassian sat back, closed his eyes. Let the rage wash over him. Let it fill every corner of his mind. Then he locked it away. Cold, focused, lethal. When he opened his eyes, Dante was staring. You okay, boss? No. Cassian's voice was barely human. But I will be, after tonight. The SUV turned onto a dark street. Ahead, the docks loomed, shadows and snow and silence. Somewhere in there, Lyris was running out of time, but so was Merrick, and he didn't even know it yet. What do you think Cassian's real plan is? Let me know in the comments, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. It's going to be brutal. Lyris's scream echoed in the small room before she could stop it. Pain, sharp, ripping through her abdomen like a knife twisting inside her. Rulon stepped back, startled. What the baby? Lyris gasped, her vision blurred. Sweat poured down her face despite the cold. Something's wrong. Another contraction. Early. Too early. Her body was shutting down, trying to expel the child to save itself. 7 months. The baby couldn't survive. Not here. Not without medical help. Rulon's smile vanished. He backed toward the door. Edren. The door flew open. Edren stepped in, took one look at Lyris, and swore under his breath. She's going into labor, Rulon said, his voice pitching higher. I didn't touch her. I swear. She just started. Shut up. Edren crouched in front of Lyris. His hand went to her forehead. Burning. Fever. How long have you been in pain? An hour, Lyris whispered. Maybe more. I didn't want to. Didn't want them to know. Another contraction hit. Worse than before. She doubled over as much as her restraints allowed. Something warm slid down her inner thigh. Blood. Not a lot, but enough. Edren pulled out his phone, dialed. We have a problem. The woman's in premature labor. If she delivers here, the baby won't survive. And if the baby dies, Moretti will never stop hunting us. He'll burn the entire eastern seaboard. A pause. Then Merrick's voice on speaker. How long does she have? An hour? Maybe less. Then move up the timeline. We dump her at 11:30. If she's in labor, even better. Moretti can watch her drown while trying to give birth. Edren's jaw tightened. That's the plan. Stick to it. The call ended. Rulon laughed nervously. This is insane. We're going to dump a woman in labor into the river? We're going to do exactly what we're paid to do. Edren stood. Get her on her feet. We move in 10 minutes. I can't walk, Lyris said through gritted teeth. Please, I need a hospital. The baby needs. The baby's already dead, Edren said flatly. You're just too stubborn to accept it. He walked out. Rulon stared at her. For the first time, something like doubt crossed his face. You really in that much pain? Lyris looked at him, tears streaming, body shaking. Yes, he hesitated, then pulled out a knife and cut the rope holding her to the beam. She collapsed forward, barely catching herself on her hands. Her belly touched the cold concrete. The baby kicked, weak, fading. I'm sorry, Lyris whispered to her child. I'm so sorry. Rulon grabbed her arm, hauled her upright. Her legs buckled. He half dragged, half carried her toward the door. Outside, the warehouse was darker now. The Christmas garlands swayed in the draft. She could see water through the gaps in the wall. Black, endless, waiting. A dock stretched out over the river. At the end, a weighted bag. They were going to tie her to it, drop her in, let her sink. Cassian would arrive just in time to see her disappear beneath the surface. No, Lyris said. No, please. Another contraction, the strongest yet, she screamed. Couldn't help it. The pain was everything. Blinding, all-consuming. Edren checked his watch. 20 minutes. Get her ready. They dragged her onto the dock. Wood creaked under their weight. Snow fell on black water. Lyris's breath came in short gasps. Her vision tunneled. This was it. This was how she died. How her baby died. On a dock in Brooklyn on Christmas Eve while the city sang carols and exchanged gifts. They tied her ankles, started attaching the weight, and then a phone rang. Edren answered. What? His face changed. When? How many? A pause. He looked at Merrick, who stood at the warehouse entrance, watching. We've got movement. Edrin said. Multiple vehicles. Coming fast. Marek smiled. Right on time. Let Moretti come. Let him watch. But Edrin wasn't smiling. It's not just Moretti. It's the Benedetti crew. And they're not coming from the street. They're already here. On the rooftops. In the water. They've been here. The smile died on Marek's face. What? It's a setup. We're surrounded. Lyris's heart surged. Cassian. He'd figured it out. He wasn't late. He was never late. He was exactly where he needed to be. Marek's phone rang. He answered. Put it on speaker. Cassian's voice. Cold. Calm. Deadly. Hello, Marek. Moretti. You think you're clever? You think? I think you made 3 mistakes. First, you underestimated my wife. She left me a clue in that video. The bells. Street Jerome's. I've known where she was for the last 40 minutes. Marek's hand tightened on the phone. Second mistake. You assumed I'd come alone. Emotional. Sloppy. But I didn't. I sent 20 men 2 hours ago. They've been watching you. Waiting for my signal. Rulon spun, searching the darkness. Shadows moved on the rooftops, shapes in the water. And third, Cassian said, his voice dropping to a whisper. You touched my wife. You put her in pain. You threatened my child. So now, Marek? Now I'm not here to rescue Lyris. A pause. I'm here to erase you. The lights cut out. The warehouse plunged into darkness. And then the gunfire started. The darkness exploded with sound. Gunshots. Screams. Shattering glass. Lyris couldn't see anything. Could only feel Rulon's grip on her arm tighten, then release as he dove for cover. She hit the dock hard. Her shoulder cracked against wood. Pain lanced through her belly. The baby god. The baby kicked once, desperately, then went still. No, Lyris sobbed. No, no, no. Stay with me, please. Red laser sights cut through the darkness like surgical scalpels. One landed on Edrin's chest. He raised his gun. The laser moved to his forehead. He froze. Drop it, a voice called from somewhere above. Not Cassian. Someone else. Drop it or I paint this dock with your brain. Edrin dropped the gun. More lights now. Flashlights. Headlights from vehicles rolling up to the warehouse entrance. The whole area lit up like a stage, and in the center of it all, walking slowly down the dock, was Cassian Moretti. He wasn't armed. His hands hung loose at his sides. Snow dusted his dark coat. His face was carved from stone, but his eyes burned. Lyris, he said softly. Cassian. Her voice broke. The baby. I can't feel. I know. He dropped to his knees beside her, hands already moving to the ropes at her ankles. I know. I've got you. I've got both of you. His fingers were gentle despite their speed. The ropes fell away. He pulled her against his chest, and she felt his heart hammering. Not calm, not controlled. Terrified. Ambulance is 2 minutes out. He whispered into her hair. 2 minutes. You can hold on for 2 minutes. Cassian. Marek's voice. Sharp. Desperate. Cassian, wait. We can talk about this. We can. Cassian didn't look at him. He kept his eyes on Lyris. One hand pressed to her swollen belly, feeling for movement. Dante. Secure the perimeter. Anyone who worked with Marek tonight, hold them. I'll deal with them later. What about Marek? Now Cassian looked up. His gaze found Marek standing at the warehouse entrance, Edron and Rulon on either side of him. All 3 had red dots dancing on their chests. Marek stays with me, Cassian said quietly. Marek's face went white. Sirens in the distance, growing louder. The ambulance. Lyris's vision was fading. In and out. Cassian's face. The snow. The lights. Stay awake, Cassian said, his voice cracking for the first time. Lyris, stay awake. Look at me. She tried. God, she tried. But the pain was too much. The exhaustion. The fear. Her eyes closed. Lyris! The world went dark. She woke to bright lights. Beeping machines. Voices shouting medical terms she only half understood. She was on a stretcher. Moving. Fast. 32 weeks gestation. Premature labor. Signs of placental abruption. We need an OR now. Blood pressure dropping. Start another line. Where's the father? Right here. Cassian's voice. Harsh. Commanding. I'm right here. And if anything happens to her or my child, this entire hospital will burn. Sir, you need to... I'm not going anywhere. A hand found hers. Squeezed. Warm. Strong. Alive. I'm here, Cassian whispered. I'm here, and I'm not leaving. They wheeled her into an operating room, cold, sterile, terrifying. A doctor's face appeared above her. Masked, calm. "Mrs. Moretti, we're going to deliver the baby now. Emergency C-section. You'll be under general anesthesia. When you wake up, it'll be over. Will my baby?" She couldn't finish. The doctor's eyes were kind. "We're going to do everything we can." A mask over her face. Gas, sweet and chemical. "Count backwards from 10, someone said. 10, 9, 8, Cassian's hand in hers. 7, 6, the baby's kick. So faint. 5, 4, please, God. 3, let them live. 2, let us both. Darkness. When Lyris woke, the world was soft, quiet, no pain, just a deep, aching numbness. She was in a hospital bed, private room, dim lights, and beside her bed, slumped in a chair, was Cassian. His head rested on the edge of her mattress. His hand still held hers. His clothes were still stained with blood and snow. "Cassian," she whispered. He jerked awake. His eyes found hers, red-rimmed, exhausted, but alive with relief. "Lyris." He stood, leaned over her, his hand cupping her face. "You're awake. You're, thank God. Thank God. The baby." She couldn't breathe. "Cassian, is the baby?" He smiled. Actually smiled. And she saw tears on his face. "She's alive. 3 pounds, 2 ounces. Fighting like her mother." He pulled out his phone, showed her a photo. A tiny infant, tubes and wires everywhere, eyes closed, but breathing, living. "A girl," Lyris sobbed. "We have a daughter. We have a daughter," Cassian repeated. His voice broke. "And she's perfect. The doctors say she'll need to stay in the NICU for a few weeks, but she's strong. She's going to make it." Lyris closed her eyes. Let the tears come. Relief, joy, exhaustion. "Marek?" she asked quietly. Cassian's expression hardened. "Alive. For now. I'm letting him think he still has a chance. Letting him sweat in a cell while he waits. And then I keep my promise." His thumb brushed her cheek. "But not tonight. Tonight, I'm here. With you. With our daughter. The rest can wait." He kissed her forehead, her cheek, her lips. Gentle, reverent. "I thought I lost you," he whispered. "Both of you. And Lyris, I can't. I know." She squeezed his hand. "I know." They sat in silence. Hospital sounds around them. The soft beep of monitors. Footsteps in the hall. Outside, Christmas morning was breaking. The first light of dawn touching the snow. And in the NICU, 3 floors down, their daughter breathed. Small, fragile, but alive. It was Christmas morning. Church bells rang across Brooklyn. Families unwrapped presents. Children screamed with joy. The city sparkled with fresh snow and new light. And in a basement beneath a closed butcher shop in Red Hook, Marek Silvano learned what it meant to betray Cassian Moretti. The room was cold. Concrete. A single bulb hung from the ceiling. Marek sat in a chair, hands zip-tied behind him, blood crusted on his face from where Dante had worked him over for the last hour. He wasn't alone. Edrin Cole hung from chains on the wall, unconscious, his breathing shallow. Rulon Vex lay in the corner, whimpering, 3 fingers missing from his right hand. They'd screamed for the first 2 hours. Now they just existed, waiting for the end. The door opened. Cassian walked in. He'd showered, changed. He wore a clean suit, dark gray, perfectly tailored. His hands were scrubbed, his hair combed. He looked like a man heading to a business meeting. But his eyes were empty. "Cassian." Marek's voice was ragged. "Cassian, please. I can explain. I can..." "Explain?" Cassian pulled up a chair, sat down directly in front of Marek. "Explain how you planned to kill my pregnant wife? Explain how you were going to drown my unborn child? I'm listening." "Marek." "Explain. It wasn't personal. It was business. You took everything. The respect. The power. I built those docks. And you..." Cassian's fist moved so fast Marek didn't see it. His head snapped to the side. Blood filled his mouth. A tooth rattled loose. "Wrong answer," Cassian said calmly. He stood, walked to a table against the wall. Tools laid out. Methodical. Clean. "Lyris asked me something last night," Cassian said, picking up a pair of pliers. "She asked me not to let our daughter be born into a world where I'm only a monster. She asked me to be better. For the baby." He turned, walked back to Marek. "So I made her a promise. I promised I wouldn't kill you with my own hands. He leaned close. But Merrick? I never said anything about making you wish I had. What happened next took 3 hours. Cassian didn't raise his voice, didn't lose control. He worked with surgical precision. Every question Merrick refused to answer cost him something. A finger, a toe, an ear. Dante watched from the doorway, silent, ensuring no one interrupted. By the end, Merrick told them everything. The names of everyone involved. The financial backers, the offshore accounts, the plans that went beyond just killing Lyris, plans to dismantle the entire Moretti empire. Cassian recorded it all. Every confession, every name. When it was done, Merrick hung his head, barely conscious. Please, he whispered. Please, just end it. Cassian stood, set down the pliers, pulled out his phone and played a recording. Lyris's voice. From the hospital room, weak but clear. Cassian, if you're listening to this, and I know you are, remember what I said. Our daughter needs a father, not a ghost. Don't let revenge take you from us. Do what you need to do, but come back to me. Come back whole. The recording ended. Cassian looked at Merrick. You're right. I should end it. But I won't. Because that would be mercy. And you don't deserve mercy. He walked to the door. Stopped. Looked back. Rulon dies tonight. Quick. He was hired help. Edrin gets a trial. He followed orders but didn't plan this. But you, Merrick, you're going to live. In a cell. Underground. Where no one will ever find you. And every single day, you'll remember what you tried to take from me. And you'll know you failed. No. Merrick's voice broke. No, please, just kill me. Cassian, please. But Cassian was already gone. The door locked behind him. In the darkness, Marek screamed. 3 weeks later, the NICU was quiet at 2 a.m. Most of the babies slept. Monitors beeped softly. Nurses moved like ghosts between incubators. Cassian sat in a rocking chair beside his daughter's isolette. She was bigger now. Stronger. 4 pounds, 3 ounces. Breathing on her own. The doctors said she could go home soon. Lyris sat beside him, her head on his shoulder. Her incision had healed. Her strength was returning. But the fear, the memory of that night still lingered in her eyes. What did you name her? The nurse had asked them earlier. They'd looked at each other, smiled. Noel, Lyris said. Her name is Noelle. Born on Christmas, saved on Christmas. A miracle wrapped in tubes and wires and fierce, stubborn will to live. Cassian reached into the isolette, his massive hand dwarfing his daughter's tiny body. Her fingers wrapped around his thumb. Squeezed. She's strong, he whispered. Like her father, Lyris said. Like her mother. They sat in silence. A family, broken, scarred, but alive. Outside, the city moved on. The docks reopened under new management. The Moretti Empire stabilized. The traitors were erased or imprisoned. The Benedetti crew was paid and thanked. Life continued, but Cassian knew the truth. This wasn't over. Merrick had mentioned a name before Cassian left that basement. A name Cassian recognized. Someone higher. Someone who'd watched this whole thing unfold and done nothing. Someone who was still out there. Waiting. His phone buzzed. A text. Unknown number. Congratulations on the baby, Moretti. She's beautiful. It would be a shame if anything happened to her. Cassian's jaw tightened. He deleted the message. Powered off the phone. Lyris looked at him. What's wrong? Nothing. He kissed her temple. Nothing that can't wait. She didn't believe him. He could see it in her eyes. But she didn't push. Not tonight. Tonight, they just sat. Watched their daughter breathe. Counted her heartbeats on the monitor. And Cassian made a silent promise. Whoever sent that message was already dead. They just didn't know it yet. Because Cassian Moretti had learned something important that Christmas. Love didn't make him weak. It made him unstoppable. Who do you think sent that final message? Drop your theories in the comments below. And if you want to see what happens next, if you want to know who's really behind all of this, hit that subscribe button. Because this story, it's just beginning.